Okay, so we had talked about doing the listening and reading assessments tonight, but I wanted to review a couple of things before we go through the listening. Well, before we go through both of them. Let me make this. Okay. Because there was one section that we had not practiced a lot, which was about emotional state. And so on Tuesday, I gave you 10 short listenings and this document to understand what are the different emotions that people may have. And then we'll look at the answers for that section in a little bit. So basically, with this document, it just talks about when you're listening to what people are saying, how are they responding? And some of the clues are when people are feeling sad, or frustrated or happy. Close that. And usually when you hear people's voices go high or they have a questioning going up, that's when they're excited, happy, frightened, or annoyed. If they're not interested in something, then they might feel low. The sound is kind of low. That's a great class. You know, it's not very enthusiastic. Okay. And then it also talked about interjections. So when people are like, wow, oh, really? Those types of one word phrases, that's where they're talking about. Usually they have the interjection and then they have the phrase of what's happening. And based on what they're saying, that's where you understanding what their meaning is. So, oh, I failed my midterm exam again. Oh, that's exciting. Have a great trip. Or, oh, of course he's not coming. He never does. Okay. And so in those settings, that's where, based on the words, the O is similar, but based on the words, you can identify what they mean. Okay. Were there any questions from this information? Okay. So they highlighted or talked about some of those like, oh, well, Okay. So with the chart that you guys did, sorry, let me move this down and close that. Okay. So what were the answers that you had for these conversations? If you, I didn't mark them. I just looked at some of you and sent them to me by email. But in conversation number one, well, maybe I should ask this. How many of you did this yesterday and that you finished these? Okay. Okay. So I think it's best then that we do these, we'll listen to them now. And as you're listening to these conversations, they're very short, then decide which words you would put into these for which conversation. We'll look at the answers because this is part of what was on the skill using and also part of what's on the assessment for tonight. So let me go to the conversation and turn the sound up. Hopefully it's not too loud. So as we listen to the first, we'll do 1 and 2 and then stop and talk about it, and then we'll listen to the rest of them.
Number 2. Oh wow, Tiffany Berry.
Okay, so in number 1, what emotion? Okay, yeah, so probably anger, even though might be angry, surprised, excited. Okay, well, so okay, let's. Oh, you mean for the second one? Oh, I see. Sorry. It's like, wow, let's talk about that. Okay, so let's let's listen to the first two again, because the first one wasn't as clear, just. Why isn't it? Okay, I'm not sure why, but. Okay,
No. Two. Oh, wow, you're getting
okay, so, oh, wow, you're getting married.
married.
Okay, so, yeah, I think a little bit more surprised. I'm not sure why, my Word document's not responding. My little, one still works. Maybe because I have too many things happening at once. Okay, so let's listen to the third one. Sorry, let me just go back so we'll listen to 3 and 4.
Four. It has everything to study.
Okay, okay, so number 3 about jumping in the water. Okay, okay, well, usually we're not disappointed before we do something. Usually you're disappointed after, so even though the sound is a little bit low, I think there's a better choice than disappointed. Just a minute, for whatever reason, it's now working. So let me close that. Okay. Okay, so besides disappointed, what else might you think it could be? Okay. Bored. Okay, well, I'll put in disappointed, but I don't know that before we do something, we often say like that. Okay. Maybe uncertain. Okay, and what about number 4? Okay, sad. It's weird. There we are. Okay, so maybe sad, because she talks about moving from New York. Okay. Okay, let's listen for 5 and 6.
Number 6. Number 5. All right, can't wait to see you.
Okay, so yeah, 6 I think's excited. What was 5? Okay, bored, because. Yeah. Okay. So, okay, we'll listen again to 5 and 6.
Number 6. All right, can't wait to see you.
Okay, yeah, so 6 I think is excited. 5 bored or disappointed. Okay. Okay. Okay, possibly. Okay, let's listen. I'll just play 7, 8, 9, and 10, and then we'll look at what those might be.
Really want that job. I guess it would come from me. No, time to start moving. Number 10. I said, put your jacket on. It's cold outside. Don't get sick. Don't.
Okay, so number 7. Uncertain. Okay, number 8. Some are saying bored, some are saying bored, some are saying uncertain. Okay, I'll jump number 8 for now. Number 9. Surprised or sorry, excited. Okay. And number 10. Yeah, putting on the jacket. Okay, let's listen to those 3 again. That was number 6.
I can help you with that. Yes. Really want that job. Yes. For me. No, I can't miss your movie. Number 10. I said, put her jacket on. It's cold.
Yeah, number 10 is angry. So with some of these where it's a little bit confusing, then we have to think what's the context or what's happening in that part. So let's go back to number 2 where there was a surprise or excitement.
Don't grab that.
Okay.
Number 4. Yeah, I moved to New York to study. Number 5. This time it's so small. Something to do here. Number 6. I booked my flight. Oh, wait. Can't wait to see you. Number 7. I could help you with that, I guess. 8. I really want that job, but I guess it wasn't the right one for me. So, I can't say. Number 10. I said, put your jacket on. It's cold outside.
Okay, we know when they're angry with that. Okay, so just a note with number 3 is probably scared because when you're jumping in the water, often the children, if it looks deep or they're not used to it, that's where usually the feeling is scared. So the way they sounded maybe is scared or possibly a little bit disappointed. But like I said, we're disappointed after we tried or did something. So in this case, usually scared before starting something. Okay, sad because they moved to New York and didn't have friends. Number 5 is bored because when you're in a small town, there's nothing to do. Then you're wanting more excitement or more activity. Any questions with any of those? No?
Exactly.
Okay.
So no way. If you want to speak no way, you know exactly this surprise. No way, I don't believe.
That's true. Let me hear it again.
So,
I think if this was on a quiz, I would accept either of these then. Surprised or excited. Because yeah, you're right. When you're saying no way, then
almost, no,
Yeah, I can't believe. So then they're excited for what's happening, but surprised because of the news or the announcement within that. Okay. So yeah, I think surprised is probably a better choice, but I would accept excited because just of their intonation. Okay, one other thing I wanted to just comment on with the listening. I don't know if I still have it opened. No, I don't. One of the other things I wanted to just comment on was when you did the skill using on Tuesday, just make sure with every question that you always, especially multiple choice, always choose an answer. Okay, so if you have or true, false, or multiple choice, or making an option between a couple of them, like they did for the register, formal or casual, good friends, magazine interview, etc. Try to always choose something just so that you have a chance of getting it right. Okay. And then the last question, so it's the same as it was for the skill using. The last question is going to be about what you think or what you feel. Why do you think this is? Have you been in a similar situation, etc.? So when we're answering that part, then keep that in mind for that. So let me just give you a quick overview of tonight so that we're all on the same page with what's happening. Sorry, let me open this up. 116. Okay, so I wanted to make some comments about listening, which I just did. We'll do the listening assessment, just keeping those ideas in mind. And then we're going to see how much time we have, because the assessment will be, or the listening will be probably about 20 minutes or so from start to finish. And then after we're done the assessment, did you guys know that there's a library on campus? Okay, I found out last week. I knew there was one in the building. I just had never been in it, and I had walked by it, but I never looked in it. But one of the other teachers had mentioned, because they have a large. Some of you were with me last November. We went to, or October. We went to the public library, and the library here also has a large section of ESL materials. So once we've finished the listening, I want us to go to the library and just see where that is, and also look at the materials there, because they have a section. It's probably from me to the door, and on this side, with 4 or 5 shelves, similar to the public library. There's pronunciation, there's grammar books, there's reading, writing, listening, speaking, TOEFL materials, etc. So we'll go take a look at that, because on Thursday nights, the library is open until 8. And so some of you, if you're working during the day, but you're able to come by in the afternoon or evening, you could stop by the library and just look at that material, especially considering next week, you guys don't have class. I have training and activities as the instructors, but you guys won't have class. So if you're close to the campus or passing by, even during the day, you could pop in and spend an hour and go through some of the material or take some of the material out. So I think it's important that you guys see where it is and not take stuff out. After that, we'll come back, and then I'm not sure yet if we're going to do the reading assessment or not. We're going to see how much time we have. I'd like to do it, but I also I'm okay if we don't do it and we just do more practice over the next week, and we do it in the first week in May. And then towards the end of the class, I'm going to talk a bit more about going to a higher level and what we're going to be doing in May and June to help you get to the higher level. And then at the very end, there's a short video on teamwork that I want to take a look at. Okay, so for the listing, just as we did on Tuesday, let's spread out around the room so that you're not sitting next to anyone, please. Make sure that you have a pen or a pencil. And while I'm handing these out, I'm going to hand them out face down. And then after that, we'll take a look at all of them together. You have to sit by the food. I feel a little bit of it. That's if you want to sit here and follow. And start charging people for so with the listing, keep it upside down until everyone has a copy. Then we'll bring it over and take a look at it. Okay. Okay, so, yeah, I was like, I have more copies than people. We're like this. Did I miss anyone else? Okay. So you can turn over the paper and then put your name and today's. So turn over the paper and put your name and today's date on it. Today is the 18th, so 4/18/24. Okay. As you look at the as you look at the questions, remember with reading and with listening, you want to glance through the questions quickly. What is the theme or the topic based on the questions? What are some of the words that you see talked about in this section? Okay, is it talking about horses? Is it talking about the world? What's it talking about? Okay, parents. Okay, and then it talks about with a baby, and then a name, etc. So when you're first looking at the questions, that can help you get orientated towards what the topics might be about with the section. Okay, so as you can see, there's questions 1 to 7. So you were going to listen to part 1, and in part 1, it's just questions 1 to 7, and then in part 2, that's where we're going to then go to questions 8 to 16. Okay, but the first part will just be focusing on 1 to 7. So I just need to find the listening that I'm supposed to keep hidden. Okay, and I don't need to record this.